Okay, taking the last stab at recording this, so you're gonna have to bear with me if it's a little quick today. Today, horrible trading action. Not every day is gonna be fantastic. We had that one trade I showed you on Car, which was 6-to-1 risk reward that actually saved me. Got burned on Priceline trying to short it 3 times. Again, stupid trades today. Not necessarily stupid. I wouldn't say I was stupid if I made 25 points on them, right? So, again, the best trader in the world is Captain Hindsight. So, probably not going to touch this anymore, but I was trying to trade this Priceline short. The key thing that I did right and that I told the room is that you size up properly. So go very light on Priceline because it's going to need a lot of room. So if you size up wrong, you can screw your whole day up, right? And if you size up wrong, one of the worst things that happens to new people, they size up improperly, and that loss is so big they don't want to take it, and it just keeps getting worse and worse, and it's just the most empty feeling in the world when you finally take that loss. So you definitely don't want to do that. We try to tell everyone in the room how much room stuff's going to need and what they need to be careful on size with, and Priceline is one of those that you had to be careful with. Again, I took a stab at it 3 times. I'm done trading Priceline, Netflix, anything over a couple $100. I'm just done trading. They're just too hard. I do like the large caps. That is my favorite stuff. I actually don't like the cheaper stuff. The CLRX, I could have made a ton of money on that today, but I missed the setup, the flag setup, and I just missed this one. Bottom line, I actually had it. We had it on our watch list right here to watch long out of the gate, CLRX, but there wasn't anything I could get a trade on. Traded BJRI, had 3 losses on that as well, which I'll go over here in a second. The one big trade I had was this car. We were watching long above 64.02. I'm going to go ahead and touch on this trade for a second, and then I'll go over everything that we traded. But we were watching CLRX, couldn't get a trade on that. But car, we were watching long above 64.02. And I like these plays like this that nobody's really watching. They had earnings out, and the earnings were pretty good. Everything was pretty good, but the stock wasn't gapping up in the morning. And a lot of people only look at the stuff that's gapping. They don't read the news and all that kind of stuff. And so when you don't go through the news, you don't do your homework, you'll have some issues sometimes finding good stuff because this is not going to be on your radar if you're just looking at what's moving up and hitting highs and all that stuff in pre-market. If that's all you're looking at, you would have completely missed this. And this was a great trade. Again, we made $6 for every dollar at risk, and I'll kind of go over the setup here. So we were watching this long above 64.02. So let me mark that on my chart here. Watching this long above 64.02. Here's 64.02 right here. And the stock rips. Look at the size of these 5-minute bars, like $1.50. So 62.38 to 64.37. So almost $2 right here. Almost $1.50 right here. A little over $1.50 maybe. So you've got these huge 5-minute bars. Now this is not manageable price action. However, when you started banging against 65 right here, again, we know this has no resistance. It starts banging against 65. Well, I'm going to start watching it. So what I was watching for, this bar hit 65, this bar hit 65, this bar hit 65. And so what I did was I was watching for 65 to get taken out. Okay, well 65 gets taken out. It hits 65.03 and it kind of pulls in right here. So what I did is we got long. Now, because 65 had been taken out, when they kept taking orders at 65, and the guy at 65 was refreshing, which means that he was only showing 300 or 400 shares, but everybody would keep buying 300 or 400 shares, and it would just keep refreshing, right? So you could take as much as you wanted at 65, because the guy just was not getting out of the way. So 65.03 goes off, then 65 is going off like crazy. You know there's going to be a spike when that guy gets up. So what we did is we got long at 65. And again, nothing's guaranteed to work out, right? Obviously, okay? I took 9 trades today, and I only hit 2 of them. So nothing's guaranteed to work out. Today's just one of those days. Not every day is going to be great. This is day trading, right? 65 goes off, so we got long with a stop, 64.74. It rips, and it had a lot of momentum. And we were selling up here 66.60s, okay? Made $6 for every dollar at risk. The stock ends up running to 67.63, but guess what? You're never going to get it all. I say that all the time. You're never going to get it all. You just have to kind of take, if you're up $6 for every dollar at risk and you're not taking some off the table, you need to get your head checked because that's good enough. Definitely $6 for every dollar at risk. That's the only reason I finished green today, and I didn't even finish green very much. I only finished green a couple $100. Now, when this trade was over, risking $1,000, made over $6,000 on it. And with all my price line losses, I also had a loss on QCOM, which I'll go over now. So QCOM. All right, news comes out. Icon has a stake. Icon Ackman news. I typically will take a stab at that kind of stuff. Long, just above 71 with a stop at 70.79. And we get stopped. This is where the news comes out. Got stopped here. It ends up going back up, but guess what? I mean, who cares, right? It didn't go up enough to where I'm concerned about it. I took a stab at it. It didn't work again. This is day trading. So that was actually my first 4 trades, and then my 5th trade was CAR. And again, had CAR not worked out, I would have hit my max daily loss, and that would have been it. CAR takes me green on the day. All right, so CAR takes me green on the day. Then EOG pops up. Now EOG we were initially watching short. But if you're watching something, so when we put stuff on the watch list, we're putting it on the watch list and we're wanting it to do certain things. Hold levels that we're watching. If we're watching it long, we want to see it making higher highs and higher lows. If we're watching it short, we want to see it making lower lows and lower highs, right? Very simple stuff. EOG starts rallying. Okay, you have a stock that's down almost 10 points. EOG starts rallying, making higher highs and higher lows. Now, am I going to want to short that? Absolutely not. But where's my next resistance anytime that we have a stock gapping way down? Well, you don't have to worry about day chart resistance because your next resistance is always the low of the prior day and the close of the prior day because you've got a gap to fill. So the gap is in place. So all of that prior price action doesn't matter. So this stock is ripping up. Now, I didn't get any piece of this right here. However, when I saw it flagging, and you can tell it was flagging because look at your volume. You got that kind of stair step down in volume. When I saw this flag popping up, we got long on this bar right here with a stop below this bar. So we were long. By the time it was all said and done, we actually added and adjusted our stop. We were long. I'm trying to find it here. 92.32. We adjusted our stop to 91.99. It ended up being break-even stop by the time it was all said and done. So we're long right here. We add a little bit on this little move. We adjust our stop to 91.99. As soon as the stock takes out the high, we sell half. And this is where I'm going to give you a little lesson. We sell half as soon as the stock takes out the high, and we adjust our stop to break even. Now, we're long 92.32. The stock comes back down, it stops us out. A lot of new people get in a bad habit of saying, well, next time I'm just going to give it more room because you know what? And the worst thing that can happen to a new person is they take 3 trades, they get stopped out on every one of them ends up ripping, but they were putting their stop where it belonged. And every stock ends up ripping because the next day they're going to come and they're going to say, I'm going to give my stocks more room, and then guess what's going to happen? They're going to give them more room and they're never going to come back. All right? So you just got to do what you're supposed to do. That's the key, the discipline, right? You do what you're supposed to do. The stock ends up rallying back to new highs after we got stopped out of half. That's okay. It still was a winner. At this point, I was actually up a decent amount on the day. I'll show you where I screwed up, which is on BJRI, another one that we were watching long today. The stock ends up ripping, but it is what it is. We got stopped out, so it either takes off from the highs, and what you want to see is you're going to be long against the highs and rips. If it comes back and stops you out, you get stopped out. Now, if we were long on the first 5-minute bar to make a new high, when we noticed it was flagging, would have been right here, we would have been okay because we would have been along above the break of 91.88 as long as we got in below 90. This makes a high. Below 92, we would have been okay. But we didn't, and we got stopped out, and it is what it is. All right? So on to the next one. So this is where I kind of gave my day back. And again, not every day is going to be great. And I say this is where I gave my day back. Guess what? If one of these trades would have worked and this would have hit 57.50 or 56, 56.50, I wouldn't be saying this. And it's like like I say all the time, Captain Hindsight's the best trader in the world. So I'm not going to be disappointed or pissed off at myself. What I did do is after I was up, and then I got back to where I was only up $250, I turned my platform off because I'm not gonna go red on a day where I was green. Now I started the day way red, ended up rallying to be green, pulled back to 250. And sometimes you're going to have those days where you just feel bipolar, right? You can't, it's just all over the place. That's just part of day trading sometimes. It's an unfortunate part. I wish every day could be excellent and awesome because those are the best days. But I was playing this BJRI. Again, breakout on the day chart, huge volume. You look at the volume, it was finished in the top 10 days of volumes for sure on the stock. But the trade just didn't work out. And if you look at the chart, the hourly chart was set up nice. Everything was set up. This was another one that I told the room that you had to give this one a little bit of room. It was an hourly flag. Kept trying to take stabs at this, thought it was going to go, and it just never went. And I kept getting stopped out time and time again. So, again, that kind of stuff happens sometimes. But initially thought it was going to break. Thought it was going to break up here. Ended up getting stopped out, 51.90 or 54.91, being long 55.20s. Took some more stabs up here, got stopped again right here on this bar. Finally took a stab at the end of the day with a stop at the low of this bar, and it rolled over. But the hourly chart was set up, everything was set up. Took 3 losses on it. Probably should have, after the second loss, just said, okay, you know what, I'm not going to trade it anymore. But guess what? I did, and that's what happened. So I'm just kind of reporting to you guys every single thing that the chat room gets and everything exactly how we call it, so you know what to expect if you become a member. But hopefully you also learned something too today. And again, probably won't be trading into these higher price stocks anymore. It just seemed to get burned more often than not. Priceline, Netflix, that kind of stuff. So, you know, it is what it is. Everybody have a good night. This was our review of the chat room calls for February 19th.